Cold open question of the week, Kaz.
What is up, shoes?
As we hit record, you are finishing a bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Goat cereal.
How much? Not mine, but no argument here.
Mm-hmm.
How much money in American dollars would it take for you to eat a bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch with the fork that John Moxley stuck in Darby Allin's ear?
I want nothing to do with Darby Allin's bodily fluids inside me in any way, shape, or form. So
there's got to be a number. Come on.
There's not a
generational wealth, dude. Come on.
Do you know what Darby Allin has done to his body?
Oh, I know. I'm very aware. Yeah.
And then I'm supposed to eat. Not only am I eating my favorite cereal with the most useless utensil to eat my favorite cereal with, but it's covered in Darby blood. It would have to be.
It might ruin Cinnamon Toast Crunch for you forever.
Yeah. Like I'll never look at my favorite cereal the same way again. I look at it like, I treat it like a Vietnam War veteran. I just like get the shakes anytime I look at my cereal. But I can't do bodily fluids. I'm not Fear Factor. Like I'm not this isn't Joe Rogan. You know what I mean?
Dude,
like, I'm not.
You give me my favorite food. I mean, I don't even know what it would be, but a food that I love the most. I would. Of course, I would do it for $500,000. Of course, I'd probably do it for $100,000.
All right, let's. Okay,
it's gross as hell.
There's stunts I would do for money, right? Like, because at some point, it's not even about the money. It's about you versus you, mano y mano type of stuff, right? The one game show I would never be able to do in its entire existence is Fear Factor, specifically for that reason. I could do stunts, you know what I mean? But like something about a man or a woman saying, eat this food and I'll pay you such and such. And it's like tarantula crap or just like horse, like a horse's, unit, what I mean? Uncooked, like all that Fear Factor type food.
Unit.
Yeah, I'm trying. I recognize kids listen to the show. Try my best. I can't do it. It's something inside me that's like, I don't need money that bad enough for me to shove something in my body that could possibly cause me long-term health issues.
You
Even
are
if it ain't
fun.
Physical health, mental health.
Brian H. Waters, how much to eat your favorite cereal? How much money eat your favorite cereal with the bloody fork?
Oh, man. We got to talk life-changing money where I'm taking care of
there
y'all.
You go.
So, $1 billion.
$1 billion?
$1 billion. All right.
Like you're gonna if you say $1 billion, you're not gonna say no to $1 million. Come on. All right. You guys are no
I said life-changing where I'm taking care of my family. I'm saying, look, Dave, Kaz, y'all don't have to work. Bring Ben, taking care of the homies.
I'll put the bloody fork in a mantle in my house and be like, just so my grandkids could come up and be like, Daddy, tell us about our life story. I'm like, well, son, see this bloody fork.
By the way,
here?
there is no way. If Brian won the lottery tomorrow, there is no way he's taking care of all of us. Bro, we would walk in and Brian would just have a giant mansion that there's no wallpaper. It's all championship belts. But it's just like he's gonna take the original world title belts and dip them in gold to boot. That's it.
The bloody
remember that episode of The Simpsons when like Homer got rich and he turned himself into solid gold and it's like covered in jewels and stuff like that? That's Brian just with like every championship belt, and all of a sudden he's like 12 feet tall. He's like, like, Brian, you look different today. He's like
that Triple H meme where he's got all the belts. That's gonna be Brian when he wins the lottery.
We're talking a huge risk, so I gotta secure my kids' future. So I'm trusting everybody. Where like if I take care of y'all, that y'all gonna look out after them. If I die, I hope.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Okay, that's fair. But if your kid comes to you and if your kids come to you and they're like, Dad, I need money for college, can you sell one of your title belts? You'd be like, why don't you get a scholarship, kid? I'm just kidding. All right, let's start the show. Welcome to the Masked Man Show with Kaz. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right, Shoes. How about yourself, man?
I'm doing good. There were a number of other cold open question options. Maybe I should have started with a different one because you just totally no-sold the fork question. The fork is maybe the star of the weekend. How would you go with cold open question of the week? Did you go to Vince's 80th birthday party?
Oh, gosh.
No, I'm just kidding. How about, no, this is the better version. Cold open question of the week. If you were forced to go to Vince's 80th birthday party, what would you wear?
Gotta wear it. Good looking suit. Good suit right there. Yeah. I would. Would you go if you got invited? Somebody sent you the invite? Like, yo.
Is it like you have to have the invite to get in the door? I mean, if I could like go and hang out at the bar and just sort of watch everything, I might do it.
Nah.
I'm not going to go.
You're personally invited from Vince McMahon. Like, hey, Shoemaker, great job on the documentary. Great job on the Netflix thing. Really have come around on it. Would love if you were in attendance for my 80th birthday.
This is a if he said great job on the documentary, I would assume that I'm going to get like killed in a back room if I show up.
You're gonna walk in, you're gonna get a whole different address. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna come here and then we're gonna get a sprinter to go where really the real party is, and then
no. But if it was like whatever, like somebody who was already going, someone who was presumably nice, like I have like I'm trying to who Sheamus was apparently there. Like if like we have like friends in common with Sheamus. If Sheamus was like, come be my +1, would I go? That's tough. I don't know, probably just to like see, just to. I don't know. Then everybody would be mad at me if I didn't like scream at Vince to his face. Be like, no, it's a tough one.
Strange. What are you supposed to do with that? Like, you're just not like you just shouldn't go to his birthday. I don't know. It's weird.
I'm not going to judge anybody's choices when it comes to their friends and acquaintances and whatever else.
We all know these people in real life. Like, let the man go to his birthday party, whatever. Yeah, he ain't got many birthday parties left. Who knows? Everyone might be the last. At certain ages, like every birthday party might be the season finale. Like, you just never know. It's like, you got to be there because, if the funeral happens in like a year or 2 or 3 or whatever, like that birthday party is kind of like the highlight tape. So it's like, gotta get those last ones in. You just never ever know.
Well, aside from the fork, there was a lot of moments this weekend that I would not personally like to have been a part of. What was it? Where do we begin? That pounce on Michael Oku in the 0 hour. Did you see that spot? Where he got pounced outside the ring and landed like 1 millimeter away from breaking his neck.
Thankfully, he's like his build is very elastic. Like he's got like
Michael Oku is the best, and I love that he's like such a huge star there. I mean that he is like such. I mean it's just so cool.
Oh man, he came in. We did Heels Have Eyes in Paris. Shelton Benjamin couldn't make it in time, and Michael Oku stepped in and was our main event for the show with Koru. And they had an absolute slapper of a match for like 120 people. It was awesome. So love me some Michael Oku. Hopefully he's all right. It looked like he's all right. I saw a text from Speedball Mike Bailey saying he's good. It's good that he's good.
There was some other. I mean, even the table spot that Gabe Kidd. Well, Darby Allin put Gabe Kidd through that tower of tables, and Gabe Kidd about landed on his neck. That one's almost totally lost to history because there's so much other violence that happened this weekend. Javon Evans, and maybe the safest looking deadly spot of the weekend, got yeeted straight out of the ring by Oba Femi through the announce table. I guess this isn't an appropriate transition because it's not funny, but this is also, if we're talking about just terrible moments in pro wrestling, deadly moments in pro wrestling. Do we talk about Raja Jackson here, or do we just save that for later?
I guess we could save that for later. That could be a
Raja
fun
Jackson, in case you missed it, was like sort of involved in an indie wrestling show, involved in a pre-match.
Nobody told him.
Where a wrestler named Psycho Stu hit him with a beer can, and he was supposed to come in the ring and show down with him, and just ended up like straight shooting on him. Like he knocked him out and then just punched him in the face 100.
A generous term.
Trying to kill the guy. Yeah.
I thought he was a goner for a good couple of minutes. I was like,
oh, yeah.
Your head is not supposed to bounce that many times off a canvas like that. Like it looked bad, but
that was freaking deplorable.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's real. I mean, I don't know what we could even talk about with that. Like, it's like,
well, thankfully the guy got it. The guy, speaking of Raja Jackson, got the whole thing on video. And if you go back and watch, I obviously didn't watch it all, but you watch all of his live stream or a good chunk of his live stream, you can see his state of mind. Like it wasn't just he can't just now be like, oh, try to reframe it as something innocuous, like his dad was Rampage Jackson was trying to do.
Yeah.
It was. By the way, this is Rampage Jackson's son, which is why anybody was watching a live stream, why anybody knows who he is.
Right. And not the best case to make for being like, oh, he's just a kid. It's like, damn, dog. Like,
this is why you don't give a kid a gun. You know, this is why you don't, like, because you shouldn't give a kid deadly fucking skills. You know, if they don't know how to do it.
I mean, if you should, but you know, what's the old adage? It's better to be a warrior in the garden than a gardener during war. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Never heard that one, but I got you. Okay.
It's okay to have like skills like that. It is knowing when to use them. And hello, the point of the wrestling is to make it look real and make it look like it's painful, not actually doing it. But anybody who listens to this show knows there's really nothing you could say to sort of to defend that. Like, if he ends up in jail, wouldn't be surprised. Like, he probably should be in jail right now. I understand it's a show. I understand he was told to go and get a receipt, but
no way.
A receipt is like one hit. Like, a receipt is like one clean shot. You know what I mean? Like, it is not what we saw in that clip. So, you know, if you've seen it already, I'm sure you saw it on your timeline or in the news, whatever. Just, yeah, he's gonna. I never want to be too judgmental because he is still very young. You know what I mean? But it's like you see things like this all the time where like kids that age like throw their lives away. Like literally, their life could and in all accounts should be over. You know what I mean? Like with that type of, you know, premeditated attack, you know, like I don't know.
They should just take all of us boys between the ages of like 17 and like 30 and just like put us in an island, you know, just don't let that stuff get out into the real world. Anyway, that guy's a freaking problem. And
it's crazy.
you know, you do it on video, maybe you get what you deserve. Anyway, back to the real stuff. What should we start with? Forbidden Door. I have like so many notes, so many different things I'm trying to look at the same time. Let's start out with the main event. We've talked about the fork enough already. The lights out steel cage match, the unsanctioned match between Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, Darby Allin, Tanahashi, Ospreay versus Moxley, Claudio, the Young Bucks, and Gabe Kidd. Was it everything we dreamed of? Was it just you're the big schmozzy AEW match aficionado?
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed this match a great deal, but I want your take first.
I think it was a good match. I think they did everything they needed to do all the lead up to it made me believe that if I was reading the tea leaves, they wanted to make sure Will Ospreay got that O2 Arena send off, right? Like,
well,
I think if he
which
wasn't
send off
injured,
are we talking about? Because they gave him the moment after the match where he raised his hands in victory, slightly bloody, and then they had him murdered in the ring.
Yeah. I mean, it just kind of feels like, you know, if I didn't know better, this was supposed to be a Will Ospreay Hangman Adam Page world title match, right? Like the way they promoted Ospreay, the way they promoted the O2 Arena, like he was the marquee. You know what I mean? It almost felt like he was supposed to be fighting for a world title in this.
Sure.
In this.
Well, I'm sure that would have been ideal. Yeah.
You know, he hadn't wrestled since All In, so they must have known for a while that he was pretty banged up. And, that's the specialty of having so many people in a steel cage match. You can do a lot of bells and whistles, make it look violent, make it look
well.
a lot.
I will say this, because I know you to have the institutional, the institutional presence of these multi-person schmozzy matches. It didn't feel as much like a throwaway as it would if they did it in WWE, right? It's like, we have Anarchy in the Arena. We do this kind of stuff, right? It felt more legitimate. And I agree. They gave him an opportunity to get out there. He wrestled a good match. He's going to have to go get surgery now. His future surgery updates are now like clogging my timeline. They have been for a week. Yeah. And he got his moment. He got his opportunity to shine there. And it was a huge, the match felt like a big deal. This might have been like the most, at least definitely by the time the match got going, this felt like the most vital thing that the Death Riders have done. And that's including like Mox's championship reign. It felt like urgent. It felt like it mattered. I really enjoyed the match. And even like Ibushi's presence there was great. Tanahashi, when they had to all talk him down off the ladder, that might have been the best moment of the match. To have a match that can pretty seamlessly go from that level of high comedy to the fork in the ear level of high horror, or low horror is an impressive thing.
Yeah, I'm really starting to fall in love with the Young Bucks again. Like the silliness of them, the gummy bear spot. You know what I mean? Like, I thought that was really.
It's so great. It really taps into what makes them so good.
But kayfabe, right? Like, Dave, we're parents. Aren't gummy bears more expensive than thumbtacks? You would think, right? Like,
no, this really is just the dudes.
That's just the production team just fucking with
the
them.
Plunder dudes are fun because everybody has been put upon. Everybody was abused by the Bucks when they were in charge. Now everybody's getting their licks in however they can. So and it's a great. It's funny because when Swerve announced that he needed surgery, after Ospreay had already said that he was about to go get surgery, I was just like, why the hell did these two not lose their match against the Bucks? Like the penalty was they couldn't wrestle for the championship for a year. It's like, these guys are both about to be out for some number of months. But then I was like, you know what? The Young Bucks have really earned it. They earned that loss. They earned this. Everything they've done since then has been so funny. It's just, and it's made them interesting. It's made them, like the books are uninteresting, but to say like every time that there's an episode of Dynamite on, you're like, I want to see the Bucks entrance because it's going to make me laugh. Like that's pretty key. That's a pretty big deal. Everybody looked great in this match. We talked about last week who was going to put Ospreay out, for his surgery. I think I said it had to be Mox, but I was not expecting this level of absolute neck breakery. It was multiple DDTs and the chair thing, the stomp. It was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. And I appreciate that pro wrestling internal kayfabe logic makes it impossible to climb the cage to help your dudes when they're getting beat down. You got to be just yanking on the door. That's the only option.
At least Kota Ibushi was selling it. You see him trying to like kung fu punch the door open and then hurting his hand. I was like, all right, at least something. It's hilarious how it's like it's a cage match and not one time did you ever try to punch or kick the gate open, but once your boy's getting murdered, it's like, oh man, if there was a way to get into this cage that didn't involve a chain, would sure know how to do it. But here's the thing about AEW, right? And this is kind of
by the way, if I was in a lights out steel cage match, knowing that it's anything goes and everything else, wouldn't you just bring some like bolt cutters to the ring? Wouldn't you just bring a crowbar at least?
We're thinking too much. We're thinking too much there. We're making too much sense. The fun part about wrestling is that like sometimes to enjoy it to its fullest, you got to turn off a little bit of your brain. But one thing I definitely took some issue with Forbidden Door was there was a handful of moments, mostly specifically during the MJF and Hangman match, that made me turn my brain off just a little too much. Like, I don't know if we were done with the cage match, but I wanted to just sort of like
just go on. Go. We have a lot to cover.
MJF and Hangman. It was a good match that turned into something completely different by the end of it. Like, it was too, putting a hat on a hat. Like, is that the phrase that they use?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's. I didn't think that the way that they got there, as far as like pretending or threatening to light Mark Briscoe on fire and to keep the contract and all that type of stuff, was going to make that much of a difference. But it almost feels like it's becoming a trend with MJF, where a lot, like, he's a fantastic wrestler.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best mic guys in the game right now also. But a lot of times when it comes to these world title matches or these big matches, I don't think anyone is telling him like, yo, dude, less is more sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, less is more sometimes.
Oh,
you know,
you want him, he should hold it back a little bit.
Just a little, like, the ref too, like the whole ending, and then like,
yeah, there was a lot going on. There's a lot of kayfabe questions there.
I grew up in we're children of Gorilla Monsoon, and Gorilla Monsoon always said the referee's decision is final. It's like under the leg, over the leg, whatever. As soon as that ref counts to 3, the match is done. You know what I mean? Like, it's over. And they should have at least milked that a little bit more before bringing out Mark Briscoe, right? Like, they should have at least, like, if you're gonna at least do a reversal or something like that, like, ring the bell, give MJF the title, have the short, like, the truncated celebration or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, the moment that they counted to 3 and no music hit and everyone's looking around and it was just quiet, I was just like, it's gonna make this match become forgettable, because up until that point, it was a really good match. Like, it was really good match. And then, like everything in wrestling, like everything in between is always going to be fine. It's about how you start the match and how you end the match. How you start a card, how you end a card. Like, everyone's going to remember how that match ended. And, now it's going to start to be a little bit of something hovering over MJF. Like, man, like, he is so talented. And I'm probably not talking enough about Hangman Adam Page either, but Hangman was awesome in that match. Hangman's always been
fantastic.
Awesome. But MJF is so good. And you can tell that he's such a student of the game. I wish that there was somebody in his ear that would tell him, like, you don't need to do all this. Like, you don't need to you don't need to add all this extra stuff. You know what I mean? To the
you mean the
schmozzy
stuff?
The schmozzy stuff, like
the
overthinking of like loophole plot lines and stuff like that. Like, I get trying to make the wrestling fan think a little more and just do something a little different. And
what do the old timers call it? The dabada or whatever. Yeah, just the weird overbookiness of the whole thing.
Yeah,
sure.
Like, it was.
It's funny because we were talking on Monday or Tuesday about why the contract was such a big part of this match, given that it wasn't going to be used now, and I thought maybe it would cash in later. By the way, Tony Khan clarified in the presser that from now on you need a week's notice to cash in your casino ladder match title shot or whatever, because he was worried about, he didn't want it to be like the briefcase in WWE. And apparently they just kept this contract as part of the ongoing story so they could hit each other with it over and over again. I mean, it was a cool finish. Listen, it was overbooked. Yes. I think they could have done it better. I think that, like, it was a great match. First of all, you said you should have given props to Hangman. Give props to both of them. The match itself was freaking incredible up until the ending. And the ending wasn't bad. It was overbooked, but the logic was there. Like, the thing that they were trying to express, the story was there. It was just like a little bit too cute and a little bit under considered, or at least undercooked. Like, I don't know if it should have been walked through more or thought through more. It just takes a sentence or two to get there. But the key parts of it, I think, to me, the most important thing is that you saw Hangman is a past all the false finish thing. Because there's people complaining that Hangman like hit MJF with the contract. It's like, no, we finally have a smart babyface. So like, an even like guys who even willing to blur the lines, to be a little underhanded, not to be the usual babyface champion dupe. That's really cool. And it was a great match. I guess there's two things going on. This is the beginning of a long running feud. Whether or not we keep this going for the next pay-per-view, or whether this is just sort of like stick a pin in it and MJF still has this contract to cash in and we can come back here. It'll feel like a bigger deal in 6 months than it would in 6 weeks. I guess that remains to be seen. But these guys do have a great chemistry. I stand by what I said last time, that MJF maybe should have won, and maybe what you were saying is the right answer. Have him win for 1 minute. Have him win. Have it take it away. Restart the match, and then have him lose without having to cash in like that. That at least elevates him. I mean, not that MJF needs anybody's elevation, but you start seeing him as the real, true, credible challenger. I think there's some options here. There were some other moments in the night where I felt, by the way, it was a fantastic show. I got to say this before we get any deeper in. Forbidden Door was so great. Maybe not to the heights of some of theirs, but what was the last B+ AEW show? Because I know that there was one. I remember, maybe it was back in the days we were doing live shows afterwards. I remember coming on and us all trying to find the vocabulary for a show that was better than than almost everything we had seen for the past 10 years, but not quite up to the AEW bar that they set for themselves. But this was there, right? This was like a solid B+, It
was such a predictable show.
Yes.
Every ending of every match was so telegraphed. Like, I don't think there was one surprise. I think the only match of like real intrigue was probably the triple threat tag team match with FTR, Hurt Syndicate.
Well, we'll get to that.
Brodido.
Put a pin in that because I want to talk about that next. I will say that there was the only surprises to me were a couple of times where the obvious things didn't happen. And they sort of like, maybe it was all of the surprises were like shocking returns. This was sort of a fan service pay-per-view going back to its inception, right? I mean, that's the whole point of Forbidden Door. Maybe it's just about the high moments, but like, you look at the Zack and Nigel match, Zack Sabre Jr., Nigel McGuinness, obviously. You'd have Daniel Garcia there with the towel in the corner and have him like, what, are we just saving Garcia's heel turn for Dynamite or Collision or like whatever? Like, why not do that thing there? Even with Luchasaurus, like, why not have that play out there? There were some moments where it's like, AEW is almost too committed to long-term storytelling, to sticking to the script, to like doing this thing in a very like deliberate way so that we have enough TVs between now and the next pay-per-view. I don't know. It just anyway, let's talk about the tag match. Your good friends, the Hurt Syndicate. If they wanted to, I know MVP was, doing those backstage TikToks or Instagram videos to try to make fun of the fact that people thought they didn't want to work with certain tag teams or drop the title to certain tag teams. If they wanted to do the opposite and convince the world that they were unwilling to take a pin to lose their titles, man, they decided to do their best and not quell any of those rumors last night. They were not involved in the finish of the triple threat match in which they lost, the titles, despite the fact that it was billed as an elimination tag match and was not. And where was MVP? And to make matters worse, the ending was kind of botched and there was no sign of the Hurt Syndicate. What the hell happened in this? It was a fun match. I'm very, very happy for Brodido. Those guys deserve it. It's very rare that the hot tag team in AEW is also like a wholly deserving tag team. You know what I mean?
Especially around this time, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like even like the Acclaimed, when they went over as champs, they were like the hottest thing in the business. They weren't like workers like the other tag teams were on the same level, I mean, these guys are crazy good. Anyway, What the hell happened in this match is my question for you.
I have no idea. that doesn't work for me, brother invitational. It was like, all right, let's. And I knew it wasn't going to be. I know they build it as an elimination match, but I'm like, just hearing what I was hearing and having.
Because we talked about it the last show. I was like, but it's an elimination match, and you were like, what?
Yeah, I was like, really? I'm like, I don't think that's how it's gonna go. And then, as it happened, like everything that I assumed what would have happened in the triple threat match when you have two people that don't want to lose to each other or it doesn't make sense to lose to each other. I'll put it like this. The way I see it, if the rumors are true that the Hurt Syndicate did not want to drop the titles to FTR, I could understand that because you have built the Hurt Syndicate as this unstoppable powerhouse tag team who are basically like the new like black version of Legion of Doom. Them, you know what I mean? Like the Road Warriors, just ass kicker supremes, right? You build a team like that up to put someone new over.
Yes.
Always. It makes zero sense in my mind, and I could be wrong here, but it makes zero sense in my mind to put over a team who has already been established in AEW like FTR. FTR does not need the tag titles. An FTR Adam Copeland Christian tag team match does not need the tag team titles. It'd be nice to have the tag team titles, but it doesn't need it.
But you say it'd be nice. I mean, we're all talking in the abstract here. I feel like in pro wrestling, the history of pro wrestling, and in the that doesn't work for me, brother annals, every single guy who's refused to lie down for another guy or team or woman or whatever else has leaned on abstract wrestling logic as their excuse. It's always, no, the point of this is to put over a guy like this, not the guy you're putting in front of me, right? It's always like, or it's, it's a matter of respect. Someone who's like, built to carry the belt. All the guys that Ric Flair didn't want to drop the belt to, but he's like, oh, but I would do Barry Windham. He's like, he's a real future champion. Like, you just like, it's not really. You always hear wrestlers who are like, I didn't want to do that, but I gave them a lot of other options. Like, it doesn't matter if the other options are fake options. It's like I don't know. They wanted to drop the belts to who? To the Outrunners or like what?
To a team that can use it. A team, establish a new team.
What about Jet Speed? They were like that. I mean, it's.
I would have understood Jet Speed. I would have understood that. Okay. Jet Speed, new team, but I don't think you hold them up to the Hurt Syndicate, and that looks like it makes sense, right? Like, I don't think you hold up the Outrunners to the Hurt Syndicate, and I think that makes sense. Bandito and Brody King, are two badasses in the same sense that Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin are two badasses, right? Like, I test alone, you could sell me on that, even if it's a straight up match. And they're hot as fish grease, and you've established a new formidable tag team in your division, and now you free up Bobby to go do single stuff, which, in my opinion, he probably should have been doing quite some time ago, right?
Yeah,
like,
no argument there.
It only helps to build the narrative that AEW doesn't book big men the best. They don't book monsters the best. They just
haven't they
back
booked?
Wardlow.
I mean, given that, yes, that's totally true. I mean, given that Bobby Lashley is now in the conversation of being a main eventer, it feels like they booked him just pretty perfectly. Let's put him in a tag team. Let's get his like AEW like internal cred up, and
get
then
his feet wet.
Put him, get the crowd used to him, like whatever, and then we'll go see. I mean, yes, this is going to be a problem.
I'm not.
All you got to do is watch those.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not of the belief that they shouldn't have dropped the titles. I just didn't think it made sense to drop the titles to somebody who couldn't benefit from it. And Brodido benefits from it a lot. And Shelton and Bobby, I mean, my God, not even in the conversation of a main eventer. Bobby Lashley is a main event talent in pro wrestling. Like, not even in the combo. Like, he is, you can put him in a world title match tomorrow.
I guess.
And it looks legit. Like, if Bobby Lashley interrupts like Hangman Adam Page on Wednesday, everyone's like, holy shit, what's going to happen? Like, You know, like he's that type of talent. But they don't do that enough in AEW, man. Like they just don't. And not that they don't do it enough. They don't have enough of those guys. Bobby Lashley is one of those guys. Like he's like unproblematic Brock Lesnar on your roster. Like, why not use him as such? Like, why not use those guys as such? And like, you need some people who don't fucking lose.
I hear you, man. I mean, I was watching Big Bill over the weekend get that giant pop that he got. Great reaction from the crowd. Everybody loves Big Bill. And it was just like, yeah, but what's the ceiling for him? I mean, you're right. It's just tough in AEW. He could have a great freaking feud, you know, if everything went absolutely perfect with Kenny Omega or something like that. But it's like, but like, there's a limit to what you could do. You know, you can't. This is a workers' company, and there's going to be a ceiling on what you do if you're not like an elite worker. And they do have a bunch of these dudes. Now they're all Don Callis' children, but yeah, I mean, they have a bunch of big guys. They you know, will have to eventually grow as a company to figure that out. I guess to me, it's like two things. One, you can have all the wrestling logic you want, but if the boss wants the tag titles to be in the FTR versus Edge and Christian match, then why would you like? Okay, like you might think it's like not necessary, but it's also like what a weird hill to die on. And two, maybe the craziest thing is if all the wrestling logic aside, if the Hurt Syndicate had been just like totally right, okay, listen, underpinning all of the arguments about putting a new team over and blah 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 is this sort of theory that the Hurt Syndicate don't really want to lose, right? That they're more interested in themselves. They're another one of these WWE acts that like is more interested in their win-loss record than in making good TV. But if they had even if they had not said anything, if there had been no backstage conversation about this, they're like, boss, we're up for whatever you want to do. You know what Tony Khan would have done? He would have had FTR maybe. I mean, he might have had Brodido win anyway, but he would have had FTR win by pinning Brodido. He would have protected the Hurt Syndicate. Like that's the most obvious thing in the world. So it's just like if you don't complain, then there's no real upside to it. To complaining, right? It's so weird. Anyway, it was a very odd ending, and the fact that the end of the match, the actual finish that the Hurt Syndicate were not involved in at all, was schmozzy. I mean, and not in a deliberately overbooked MJF Hangman Page sort of way, but in like a, you know, Brodido missed their finisher and FTR missed the pin interruption, and it was unclear what they were trying to do. There were people that even thought that like Brodido wasn't supposed to win, and because they messed up the breakup. It was clear, I think, that they were supposed to win. They just mistimed the finisher, had to reset the pin, and so the failed breakup attempt looked bad. But I mean, I hate that that's what we're talking about. These teams are all freaking great. Brodido is a hot team that genuinely seems to have affection for one another, and like the crowd loves both of them, and it's just awesome. I thought it was a great match, and the ending was what the hell? It was just truck through some of the rest of the stuff.
Yeah. I was going to say like the entire show had that same sort of feeling, right? Like I was saying this earlier, it felt like a very predictable pay-per-view with great wrestling in it. It's like, and I'm very much of the belief that like a show could be predictable and still be very good and still be very, very enjoyable.
Of course.
Like, but yeah, I mean, I feel like this was one of the more predictable AEW pay-per-views. Granted, it's Forbidden Door. It's still kind of like this outlier of their shows throughout the year that sort of, you know, whatever Forbidden Door feels like in 2025 kind of is what it is at this point. But like, there was nothing in the show that made me feel like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. What's going to happen on Wednesday? I mean, you know,
I'm just telling you, it's more. I agree. Well, maybe that's why you have Daniel Garcia not turn heel. Maybe like you leave some of these threads out there. I agree, though. I mean, it would have been like, you know, he got written off, right? Ospreay. Speaking of Ospreay, and so you assume there's not going to be anything else. Maybe a heart-wrenching promo from him. But that's sort of the deal with Forbidden Door. It's like even in its most, it's the first version of it. It's like half the dudes on the card aren't going to be there the next day. right? So there is very little going to be very little holdover. I agree, though. I mean, there was very, very good wrestling. Swerve versus Okada, if you don't mind me trucking on. Tony Storm versus Athena, 2 absolutely top tier matches. The TBS Championship match was a really fun 4-way. And Nigel McGuinness versus Zack Sabre Jr. is maybe the most perfect match of its sort. It was just great. This is like, you can't tell me you didn't watch that match and say, like, this isn't my cup of tea, but dude, this is why you love pro wrestling. Because this is just such a little perfect thing in like just by itself. It was fantastic.
No, it was really good for sure. Zack Sabre Jr. is like, I might be blasphemy right now, but he reminds me of like Dean Malenko. He's like the new age Dean Malenko, where it's like every time he's in a match, it's just like the purest of grabs. You know what I mean? It is like watching it's like watching Mike Conley play point guard, right? It's like, you ain't gonna get a whole ton of flash, but like the production and the reliability is there it's perfection. It's just like, it's perfect execution every single time out, man. And I'm not trying to say Mike Conley as Zack Sabre Jr. as like a slight or an insult or anything like that, but it's one of those things where it's just like, you get him in a match with anybody and he's going to put on the clinic. You get him in a match with 2 guys, you get in a match with 2 guys that both have that same sort of mindset. And it's one of those things where I understand if it ain't for you. I understand if you like it, you're wrestling with a little bit of tables, a little bit of chair shots, a little bit of, smack talk and low blows and all that type of stuff. But if pure graps is your thing, couldn't have done it better than what Nigel and Zack Sabre Jr. did. Nice little quick finish, nice little, sudden finish with the roll-ups and all that type of stuff. Like, I felt like sometimes you need a match that feels like a real sport. And that's what that match felt like. I really enjoyed that.
Absolutely true. And Swerve and Okada, by the way. And I know I'm just like, no, I don't know who in the world is actually saying this, but just like, I was just like, wait, this is supposed to be like injured Swerve versus washed Okada, and this match was so freaking good. It was like, I know the washed Okada meme is just sort of dead now. I think we should all agree, but I could not. I said that was the match I was looking forward to the most, and I was just like, even I was impressed by what they did. I mean, even the finish, I've read some occasional hate online that Okada's finisher shouldn't be the clothesline. He has more impressive moves. The Rainmaker is kind of a basic move, just sort of gussied up.
It's like the people's elbow.
I don't always. Well, I don't always disagree, but when the Rainmaker really hits, like it did last night or yesterday, it's the best finisher. That Rainmaker yesterday is better than any freaking get on my shoulders and let me throw you on the ground, any flip you over into a DDT. That is the best finisher when it really snaps. It almost makes me think there should be more basic move finishers. Let's go back to the age of like, everybody knows how to do a body slam, but I do the best body slam and it can kill you. There's just something. Is
the Rainmaker your favorite finisher that you can do to anybody?
It might be. It might. I mean, there's a long list, but
Sweet Chin Music is always gonna be up there. You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's another one. A lot of people do the thrust kick, the judo kick. Now it's Sweet Chin Music. Super kick, Sweet Chin Music. That kind of took it to a new level.
Yeah.
And you buy it too. It just with that smack when he hits it, it's just like, oh yeah, Shawn Michaels does that better than everyone else. That's why everybody goes down for the count.
That's a fact.
It's great.
What else is a good non-lift finishing move? Like a good. What's the best basic finishing move?
Well, it's a lift, but I will give you like the world's strongest slam. Just the way that he exexecuted that, Mark Henry was just like the best. Yeah, I mean, whatever.
Well, he doesn't count.
I mean, even back in the day, when, like, Bulldog.
That's
right. You could do it on anyone. Yeah. But it's not. But you don't have to be whatever. The dude could be 450 pounds. He could still, no matter what, you can always lift somebody up halfway. Like it's not a gorilla press. But for people, you don't have to do it. I mean, the DDT is great. All the iterations of it are very good. Obviously, you can RKO anyone.
That's true. I was going to say the RKO is probably the best. You can do this move on anybody move. Especially like the RKO kind of has been, I don't want to say bastardized like the super kick, but it's definitely the move that everybody does, but nobody does like Randy. You know what I mean? Like nobody does. I think Randy does it better than DDP, to be honest. Like, I don't think anybody throws a cutter better than Randy Orton does. He's got that frame that makes it look.
DDP always looked like he had to DDP always looked like he had to assemble a machine in the process of doing the cutter. He was like DDT was like putting together IKEA furniture to pull off a cutter every.
DDP
it was very
would
strange.
do cutters
but
like somebody asked him to cut the red wire before the bomb goes off in the movie. It's like lots of fidgeting, and it's like, I got it. There you go. Drops him on his head. Did you see? I mean, we'll go back to Forbidden Door for a second, but on the same subject of the RKO. Did you see the highlights of SmackDown on SportsCenter with Joe Tessitore?
No, I totally missed it.
Oh, yeah. So Saturday morning.
They did SmackDown highlights?
Yo, big moment in my wrestling watching life. Like flipping through SportsCenter and going through preseason football highlights and baseball highlights, and then having a dedicated SportsCenter segment to what happened on SmackDown last night. And I didn't watch SmackDown live. And I was legitimately like catching up on SportsCenter. I'm just like, I mean, I saw I know it was taped earlier in the day and I saw some clips. I was like, I'll catch it later. I turn on SportsCenter and it looked like they belonged. And their move of the night, they highlighted Cena versus Logan Paul and the back and forth, whatever. And they highlighted
we got to
Drew
talk about that.
McIntyre
Jeez,
promo,
put that on the notes.
The Drew McIntyre promo and Randy Orton popping up and hitting that RKO, and they slow-moed it in a way that really made it look like, oh wow, yeah, this is an athletic feat right here. It kind of feels like, I don't know, like, do you think the wrestlers ahead of time knew that like, yo, you're gonna be on SportsCenter today? Make sure everything looks greater than it usually does. You know what I'm saying? Like they redid the punch spot with Logan Paul because it didn't really come off great live, and even on the edit of the attitude adjustment to Logan Paul, like it wasn't as smooth as it was, and it was one of those things where I'm like, if it's gonna be on SportsCenter, like it's really gotta look as real as it possibly can look. And Randy, that RKO to Drew McIntyre, I was like, yeah. That's the thing I like watching. So I say major milestone in my wrestling watching life, watching college football highlights leading into a Joe Tessitore led and Wade Barrett led SmackDown package on SportsCenter. I was like, we friends.
So wait,
we have made
was Tessitore? So I didn't see it. I'm an idiot.
Him,
but like,
they tossed to him in Dublin. They tossed to him, and they just had like maybe like a 30 to 40 second highlight package of what happened on SmackDown with Cena, Logan Paul, Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, and I feel like one other match that I'm missing. But Tessitore was just like narrating all the highlights, and after it was done, they threw to Tessitore and Wade Barrett on the commentary table, and they were basically like doing what they do like after a college football game or UFC fight, where they toss it to like DC and and Chael Sonnen, you know what I mean? And they're just like shooting the breeze about what they missed and what to catch next week in Paris and stuff like that. So I was like, is that like pay-per-views aside, if I'm getting SmackDown recaps every Saturday morning leading into college football, I'm like, that might be more valuable than the damn premium live events that happen on ESPN every couple of months. You know what I mean? Like that's a real game
huge.
changer.
That is absolutely huge. You saw, I don't think we mentioned it last time. You saw that they deleted AEW news from the ESPN.com homepage.
I did see that.
That's the strong arming stuff. Although I'm not sure how good that news always was, but I mean, it's not like they were wrestling completists over there.
Nah,
Yeah,
you know where to get your good AEW
anything
news.
with wrestling. Yeah, right here in the
right
last
here
5
in
minutes.
the Ringer Mass Match.
Well, no, I mean everything wrestling and MMA related at ESPN, at least on ESPN.com, has always kind of been a work. There's a period where they were sort of in business with UFC, like low key, but they were still in business, and then obviously they had the matches, WWE stuff when they have a deal with them for in whatever way, or it just sort of it trickles up to the homepage. It's whatever. Find it hard to get too worked up about that, even if I really disagree with it. I wish they covered wrestling like a sport, but now they're in business with WWE, so that's cool. That is I mean, the AEW exclusion aside, that is very cool stuff. Well, where were we? Where were we just now?
We were talking about how
just
the
finishing
Rainmaker,
up Forbidden Door.
The Rainmaker is
Rainmaker is the best. You know what was great? Remember when like Ronnie Garvin used to just do the stomp? That's where Randy Orton took his stomp. Ronnie Garvin would just do like have you on the ground, just stomp you like working a circle around your body, stomping you. Also the punches, like if he was the hands of stone, like if you're just like a real basic wrestler, you got a good TKO punch or whatever. That's illegal maybe with a closed fist, but it gets the job done.
Big Show, and he's like, I got an ironclad contract. Just punching people in the face.
I mean, listen, all of the the hidden blade, the house call, these are all moves that you could like do on anybody of any size, and they're very compelling. By the way, big shout out to allelitemoves.com, which has GIFs of all of these things. So you could just this is a brilliant website. Daniel Garcia only has the Red Cross. So I'm just clicking through various people now. This is great. But anyway, great show. Different AEW
categories, full move set, tag team moves, submissions. Like whoever put this website together watches so much wrestling. I commend you, sir. I commend you.
We didn't even talk about Fletcher. We didn't even talk about a lot of these, but mention Fletcher Takahashi. It was a fantastic match. And, it's always nice to see Adam Copeland have people sing along to his song and have him grin ear to ear. I'm not sure. I will say that I am tentatively very excited for the Copeland Cage versus FTR feud. I feel like that's going to be good. I feel like they're all invested in each other and in, putting over the thing. One more note about the tag division before we get out. If the idea was, and again, this is all based off sourceless rumors and whatever else, but if the idea was that Tony Khan wanted FTR versus Copeland and Cage to be for the titles, what if FTR just beats Brodido for the titles on like Dynamite next week?
I feel like that might happen.
Do you think people would be like, would go nuts because it would be so transparent?
Yeah. I think it's very much out there, like if the plan is one thing you've learned about AEW is that when they have a plan to go somewhere, they get there by hook or by crook. If you're injured, if you're this or that, they will find a way to circle the block and get things done. If FTR versus the artist formerly known as Edge and Christian for the tag team titles is your all out big match, especially in Canada, they'll find a way to get there for sure. Would not shock me, especially if Bandito's already a Ring of Honor World Champion. You know what I mean? Like they don't keep people with two belts for that long unless you're like Dustin Rhodes or something. But wouldn't shock me if FTR gets a tag match and wins it.
I found it so I know, like, we've all watched wrestling for so long that it's like we know what's happening when they take one belt off somebody so that they can get a better belt or a more significant belt or just a different belt, like whatever. Like we can all see it coming a mile away. And it's gotten to the point where it's just sort of, when you see it, you sort of roll your eyes. But it is funny that like Bandito of all people is a champ, that he's back there posing with two belts. And the Ring of Honor title is nothing to sneeze at. I don't mean to imply that it is. But it was one of those times where it's like, yeah, maybe he should have dropped that title before he went on this giant tag team run on AEW. Anyway, that was it was a great show. We didn't give enough time to Tony Storm or Athena, more importantly, a lot of the people on the show. Mercedes entrance was fantastic. The match was really good. That was a really, really good four-way match. I mean, four-way match. Yeah. And I don't know, man. I thought that Athena might win her match against Toni Storm. I don't think that feud is over by a long shot. We just got a little taste of it, but man, I mean, those are just two of the highest level professional wrestlers in the world. That, I mean, we're maybe not at Zack Sabre Jr., Nigel McGuinness level, but I loved every second of that match. Anyway, it was bonkers, man. It was absolutely bonkers. Want to hit on Heatwave for a little bit here?
Yeah, let's do it.
What are the Heatwave matches that we want to talk about? Obviously, Oba Femi versus Javon Evans. Oba Femi's still your champ. We had one title change. Ash by Elegance. I remember my abiding question about this whole match was, what is Ash by Elegance doing there? If not to win, if not
winning that gold, Chief. That's what she's doing. That is what she's doing.
That match,
good for her, man.
Yeah,
good for her, yo.
Yeah, it was well done. And JC Jane, I don't know if you saw the post match promo that she cut, but it's like JC Jane is sort of like having to deal with loss, but still try to be full of herself. I don't know. She's a very good character.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all she needed was like just 30 seconds in the microwave. Just get this championship run has already shown me all I need to see. If they want to call her up to the main roster, SmackDown could use her tomorrow. She's so good. I mean, I'd like to see her, stay on as champ for a little while and see what she can do. But man, she's so good. Oba Femi is still your champion. I think I argued on the last show that Javon should win, or that Javon was going to win, because why are we doing this match if not? I came away totally convinced. With a total about face. I don't know if this feud needs to continue as of tomorrow, but it was a great match between these two. I love just the internal psychology, like Oba Femi getting mad when he would get hit with certain moves. There was a lot of good stuff in this match. Obviously, I'm incredibly bullish on both these guys for the future. But when Javon Evans finally wins that title, be it from Oba Femi or someone else, it is, after last night, it's got to be like the biggest moment in NXT history.
I hope WWE knows what they have in Javon Evans. I really do.
They must.
They have to know what they have in this dude. This kid, and I don't like calling him kid, but like, he's just so young and so talented. He's my favorite male wrestler of the year so far in 2025. Like, he's a male wrestler. Yeah, he's my favorite right now. Like, somebody I could turn on to watch anything he's doing in the wrestling ring, and I'm always entertained. But more than being entertained by him, I'm freaking over the moon for his potential. Like, he's got everything. And the difference between the high flyers that we believe should have popped off and him is his frame. Like, he's tall and long, and like everything he does has like a weird sort of it could be the most simple moves. Like, he's starts doing the Superman punch. He throws a better Superman punch than Roman Reigns, in my opinion. Like, just because he's so tall and he gets so
he's
high
like Mr.
in the
Fantastic,
air. Yeah, exactly. Like, he's just amazing to watch. And you can't watch a match like him versus Oba Femi or him versus Trick Williams and not think in the next 3 or 4 years that's the main event of a SummerSlam or a main event of a War Games or a main event. I'm not even going to go WrestleMania. I'm not going to go all the way deep there yet. But it's like, you can't mess those guys up. Oba Femi goes without saying. I said this on the show weeks ago. I'm like, Oba Femi should never lose that title. He should just relinquish it one day. Like, everybody who's been like, everybody who I thought, the only person I thought made the most sense to beat him was Javon Evans. And Javon Evans still might beat him one day for the championship. But he's so unbelievable and ready. And playing out of his, like it's like he's playing up an age group. You know what I mean? Like, you ever have kids that are just so good in football or basketball and you got to move them up a grade because they're just dominating everything that they're doing? Like, that's what Oba Femi is. But Javon Evans, man, like, that dude is not even 23 years old yet. And he is the best male wrestler on the roster in NXT. Clearly. And if he was on the main roster, he'd be up there. I wouldn't say he's like, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, CM Punk level on the first day of the main roster. But if he walked onto the main roster tomorrow, he's in the top 10. He's maybe in the top 7 as far as like just in ring, like can do whatever. But on top of all that, he has the charisma. He has the unique attitude and personality that nobody else on the roster has. Like, I really hope WWE knows what they have in him. He can be as big as anybody they have on that roster if they choose him right, specifically because, and Brian, you'll attest to this, he's a YN. He's like the first like YN like pro wrestler that can really speak to a whole new generation of Gen Zers and TikTokers and folks that like are his age, basically 20, 21-year-olds, and he can grow with that audience, and he'll definitely be the face of that audience if, of course, he keeps his head on straight, all that type of stuff, and keeps it going. Like, it's almost like looking at, funny enough, Randy Orton 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Where it's just like the dude is so young and got everything. Like, once he really figures it out, and I'm sure he'll have his bumps along the way, because everybody that talented and that young and probably 5 minutes away from having the world handed to him on a silver platter probably has some bumps along the way. But even in defeat, man, Javon Evans is absolutely fantastic. And I really hope WWE knows what they have in him. He's not just a very good NXT wrestler. He's not just a guy that's going to make some noise in the main roster. I think he has enough potential to be the guy on the main roster if they make it, if they do it the right way. That's how high I am on that dude. He's unbelievable.
So you think he should have won last night?
No, I don't think he should have won. I think he had the best chance of beating Oba Femi, but he doesn't need to win to be looked at as a guy that is that high, or you could be that high on as far as like talent is concerned. He is absolutely incredible. And he hasn't really won a big match yet, right? Like, the biggest match he's won is probably this past week when he beat Trick Williams one-on-one. Like, when he finally gets those crowning moments and those crowning achievements and those moments that make him look like, oh, he's really the guy. Like, the moment like Shawn Michaels is like shaking his hand and like handing him the title, or raising his hand in the middle of the ring, and they like stamp him as somebody, he could be the leader of the new generation. Absolutely.
I don't disagree. It's pretty crazy.
And
like I said,
the combination of youth and talent is unparalleled.
I expected him to win, I think, or I wanted him to win, in part because there's just sort of like, NXT is a very unique sort of shape of a company. Even though Oba Femi, I probably like Oba better than Javon at this point in history, but like you root for him to lose in part so he can like show up and feud with Gunther or something, like so we can get called up. I thought Javon had a good chance of winning. But like I said, I came away with it. By the time when he finally actually does win, after all of these failed attempts, after like getting the crowd behind him, after all of this hard work, after everyone seeing, I think to some degree, exactly what you were talking about, it's going to be like freaking Jeff Hardy winning the title, man. I mean, it's got to be, there's going to be like nothing like it, and Javon's got a way higher ceiling than Jeff Hardy. I know that might be the most sacrilegious thing I could say, but he does.
I don't think it's sacrilegious at all. I think Jeff Hardy, if Jeff Hardy was as good as Javon Evans at 21 years old, 20 years old, I mean, not to say he's not already
Jeff Hardy might have been
Famer.
as good. Jeff Hardy might have been as good as Javon Evans in, like, proportionally, like compared to the other people in the pro wrestling industry. You know what I mean?
All right.
He might have been that amazing compared to everybody else in WWE, but Javon's just the total package, man. He's so freaking good. He's also very good at being yeeted out of the ring through tables. The finish to that match was pretty crazy and very compelling, very convincing. I mean, he just got destroyed. It was a nice little 1-2 punch, sort of, and he's not going to be your champion just yet. I mean, who's going to beat Oba Femi if he doesn't relinquish it? It's either Javon Evans, but they have to build it up longer, right? I mean, then it looks like the next people at bat are Ricky Saints and who? Josh Briggs. They're really going to fight for it. I mean, Ricky Saints versus Oba Femi could be pretty incredible.
I don't think
Oba
Femi
Femi
should ever
lose. Like Ricky Saints. Could you book Ricky Saints beating him for the title? Yeah.
No.
Sure.
I don't think so. I think it'll be a great match. I just don't think Oba Femi should lose that title. I think he should relinquish it.
I agree. I mean, if it's gonna be somebody, it kind of has to be.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of has to be Javon Evans at this point.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I would look forward to that feud, Saints versus Oba Femi, if that indeed happened. Big shout out to Jordynne Grace versus Blake Monroe, or maybe I should say in the reverse order, because Blake Monroe came out with the win.
Mm-hmm.
That match was just amazing. The show needed a match of that quality right then, and it delivered. Like, it was so good. I mean, this really shows you, again, don't want to beat the dead horse on this or just like go with conventional wisdom or whatever the phrase I should be using is, to see two non-WWE wrestlers, two people who like learned the basics outside of the WWE system, go in a match like this. They just they give you something different. You know, it hits different. And it was, I mean, compared to the triple threat, it was just so much more vital, had so much more like electricity. And it wasn't a perfect match, Jordynne Grace versus Blake Monroe, but it was damn amazing. It was so good. Another one when I guess they could have pulled the trigger on a full like Jordynne Grace heel turn or something in this match, but I think they told enough of the story right there in the ring. Mm-hmm. These two have incredible chemistry. This might be, I mean, I know, small sample size, whatever else, but we've seen them together a good bit since they both arrived in NXT. This almost feels like a Triple H Rock situation. Like, these are like wrestling soulmates. Am I crazy? Like, they have such good chemistry together.
I love the match, and I think a lot of people probably slept on Blake Monroe, right? Like, I think there's been a lot of chatter over the past several months about her just being a product of how great Toni Storm is, and last night was a reminder that, like, Blake. I think obviously we all know how good Jordynne Grace is, and you know how comfortable she probably is in the WWE system already. But for like her first real breakout match, like, Blake Monroe kind of gave you a little bit of that energy that we saw from her in AEW in those classics with Toni Storm. And she needed a match like this. She needed a match to sort of like establish that this is a new chapter in her career and that she can have some great showings without, not even just without people in AEW, but just a new great showing. Like, show that you're worth the investment. Show you're worth the big deal that you were when we were brought in from AEW to WWE. Like, she needed a match to be one of the standout matches on NXT. Like, she wasn't brought into NXT to be, NIL, like, learning on the fly sort of thing. Like, she was brought in to be an established veteran star on a roster that's still very young. So, like, she doesn't really have that much of a curve to just be like, oh, well, this match was all right. Like, nah, like, she had to kind of prove her mettle. And I think they both did that last night. So excellent work from both of them for sure.
It was really good. I really enjoyed that. That was, I mean, there were great moments. I mean, there were Oba Femi versus Javon Evans was a great match. I think that was I think that Grace versus Monroe was my favorite. I still am tripping over Blake Monroe. I defended the name when the name changed when she made it. I think it's been too long for me to still reflexively call her Mariah May.
Yep.
So maybe I go back on that name change. But I just keep typing Mariah May, thinking Mariah. I don't know. It just rolled off the tongue. It just fit her. Blake Monroe fits her. But whatever. Anyway, what else? What are the? Oh, let me pull up the card here. You got Dark State. It's your tag team champions. You big fan? You sad to see Hank and Tank go?
No, kind of knew that was going to happen. That kind of felt like the way to do it, way to move, you know? So Dark State's really starting to come around as well and sort of bridging themselves away from being Timu Shield. Very good. Good match. And I think the titles are better served on them anyway.
If there's ever a moment, even in NXT, where they do something that gets like anything approaching nuclear heat, we will toast to it on this show. We are gonna like have a shot because they're working them, but it's taken a lot of doing. They got all the leg up you could want. That freaking like Shield shocking entrance or shocking debut and whatever else. Well, I'm not quite sure about it. Lola Vice, as you predicted, defeated Jada Parker and Kalani Jordynne. That was a fun match. Ethan Page and Chelsea Green, too. Team Canada. Yeah, I defeated Tavion Heights and Tyra May Steele. Tyra May Steele had a couple of big moments, man. She's got the goods. That's gonna be another career just to watch. That's what I said on the preview. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was about to say, man, Canada was big baby face in that arena, bro. Like Canada was over like Rover in there. And I don't even think it was just Canada. It's just like, man, putting Chelsea Green in an NXT room like she's not super duper popular and over as hell. I mean, they definitely threw Tara May Steele and Tavion Heights in the deep end over there, man. Like those are, I mean, Ethan Page is great, but Chelsea Green is on another level of lovability in the WWE universe. So tough to see.
It's true. She's like the most. She's like the most NXT appropriate gimmick. You know, if there's anybody on the main roster outside of like top legit champions that you know that NXT crowd would just go nuts for, it's her. And it was a perfect venue for it too, setting and everything else. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. But Tyra May Steele, another big one to watch. I said it last week. I was like, it's nuts that you can have all this stuff, all these like up and comers that you're excited about on the card. Oh, and you just throw in this like absolute rookie who is probably going to be, is going to be female Kurt Angle. I think it's just absolutely nuts. So that was good. AEW Forbidden Door was fantastic. God, what else? What else?
You happy Tanahashi got the cover, got the win over there?
Absolutely. Of all the people you could give it to, I mean, I guess you could you go to Ospreay first, but like that's this is last. What did they say? His last steel cage match in the UK. I think they announced when he came to the ring. Is that what they said? Like how many?
Man, I
thought they said last steel cage match. So I was just like, how many of these could there possibly be? I don't. But yeah, I'm glad Tanahashi got the cover. It's Forbidden Door. Like that's a fitting ending to the show. What else? What's the other big news of the week? There's a lot of stuff that there are a few things that got overshadowed by all the PLEs or pay-per-view action that happened. Well, the news of Swerve's torn meniscus, but I guess he's been working with that for a while, which is pretty bonkers. Killer Cross and debuting at GCW. Killer is to save Shotzi from evil Matt Cardona. What'd you think?
This week in Ringer Wrestling Show's favorite game show, Is It a Work? Dun, 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 dun. I'm starting to think, well, we said this, right? We said that if this was a weird long-term play with WWE and Killer Cross, they're going to have to do a lot of things to really convince you that it isn't a work. And for the sake of the storyline and for the sake of coming along for the ride, I'm just going to be assuming from now on that this is super legit. And I'll be glad and happy if, this turns into something in the next couple of weeks. I'm starting to think less and less that it will. But, like seeing
you think
Scarlett
he's really gone
Shotzi
from WWE?
there's a couple indies out there that are very WWE friendly. All right. So if you were to do a storyline where you're sending a main roster guy all around to specific, promotions to give off the illusion that they're truly not under contract anymore. Yeah, GCW is a place to probably send them. Bloodsport's probably another place that you send them. Like, there's plenty of places where you'd catch Pete Dunnes of the world, Natty Neidhart's, like, a lot of these guys that on specific weekends or specific shows overseas, they'll go and do some indie shows, and they have a great relationship with WWE. So, might be some deep state work. We'll call it a deep state work. That's what we're doing. It is
maybe a dark state work.
Maybe a dark state, a dark state work. But yes, I'm still thinking they're just trying something to do something new, or if not, I don't want to undermine Killer Cross and how much he's probably going to put towards making this as good as possible.
First of all, you had to do GCW because GCW was the most believable place for him to show up, and if he wasn't going to go there, then it would have maybe looked more like a work. But but yeah, I think at this point, I said you have to do a lot of stuff to really make us believe he's fired, and part of that is just getting a little bit boring, just getting a little bit low wattage about it, because if it is a work, you got to go through the motions of letting you got to get us to let our guard down, and having him just start showing up in indies and do the cross thing, and maybe we're not talking about this in 2 weeks. That's kind of what you have to do. But that also works against the whole point of the whole thing. So who knows, man? It's very, very weird. I mean, I want to do a documentary about this if it is a work. If it's not a work, then what are we even talking about here?
What are we talking about?
I don't know. What else? Is that it?
I think
the
that's
WWE
it.
Speed titles still exist. They're going to be defended on NXT.
Hey.
Do you care? Sell or no sell? WWE Speed titles to be defended on NXT.
Listen, I like the concept of a speed championship. I just didn't like that it was on X. You know what I mean? Like, the concept of it is cool. Like, put a clock on there and let them go, fast paced. Like, I think the idea of the title is still a dope idea. I just want to see how they implement it onto the main roster. And hey, more so Ruka the better, I say. So hey, get her on TV.
Yeah, I mean, I
much
don't disagree. I guess. Yeah, I mean, if you actually make it like somebody's freaking, like, that's their specialty, it's like their version of the fight pit or something. It's like, okay, right. I guess, like, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what the smart, creative minds at NXT do now that they have sole propriety of the speed title. I don't know. We'll see. I thought it was just going to disappear, and I would have been okay with that. But maybe you got to keep it around so you can lease it out to somebody else.
It's a decent looking title too, man. I like the way it looks, at the very least.
It's okay. It's anyway. What's your favorite match of the weekend, Brian?
Oh, that's a good question, man. Honestly, between the opener and the closer of NXT.
Really?
Yeah, I love that opener. To set the tone for the show. Lola Vice up next. I'm ready to see her as the next NXT Women's Champion. I think, them eyeballs to CW is going to continue. But then that main event, I mean, my goodness. Y'all said everything that could be said about Javon Evans and Oba Femi.
I can't believe you have no AEW matches in the running here. That's just disrespect.
Well, I mean, Swerve Okada, classic.
There you go.
I really enjoyed that match. And Zack Sabre Jr. and Nigel McGuinness, especially just a match I didn't think I was going to get 10 years ago. So I really enjoyed that one too.
Yeah, you watched all you back in your Ring of Honor days, you must have seen Nigel wrestle a bunch, right?
No, see, by the time I started watching, he was just on commentary.
He was in commentary, and then went to TNA for a minute.
And Zack Sabre Jr., I seen him wrestle. I was backstage at CZW when he came through there a few times. So.
Yeah, I saw him at PWG. But yeah, there was never any crossover. I mean, there was never any moment where those two could have. I'm trying to say, no, it would have been too different. Even the TNA era. What was Nigel McGuinness's name in TNA?
Desmond Wolfe.
Yeah,
Desmond
not
Wolfe.
a bad name.
Yeah.
As far as name changes go. But Nigel McGuinness is just fantastic. Anyway, all right, I guess that's it. We just made it through 2 PLEs and your pay-per-views, and we're obviously missing something. Raw tonight. Do you want to know about Raw tonight?
It's at 3.
Tonight.
Today?
Today,
Yeah, early
yeah.
Raw.
Yeah.
By the time that people are
out.
listening to this, geez Louise, we got, according to WWE's tweet, we have Roman Reigns' head. I don't know what he's doing. We got Kofi Kingston versus Penta, and Roxanne Perez versus Rhea Ripley. Oh, that'll be a good one. Nikki Bella also calls out Becky Lynch. Roman Reigns is going to open the show.
And
What
more
do you think he's going to do?
That,
Little song and dance?
I mean, we're going to talk about some shoes, obviously. Feels like shoes, it's this year's friendship bracelet, right? So like, let's take this inanimate object and make it, the most important thing of the show. So,
maybe this is a story.
Jordans.
Maybe the point of this storyline, maybe the point of the story is to get Roman Reigns to finally wear traditional wrestling boots, because there's no way that someone could unlace those and take them from them in that short amount of time, right? Just the Nikes are just a bad idea. You can just get them off too easily.
Yeah, it's too much.
All right, that'll be exciting. And we'll be back here on Thursday, right?
And better than that, it's an
afternoon. Be much more
afternoon Monday Night Raw. It's an overseas crowd. That crowd's gonna be hot. Yeah, love it.
Put our feet up.
Love it.
Yeah, it's nice. And we get to watch it on Netflix. You don't have to worry about runtime or preemptions or anything. This is one of the real benefits, the Netflix partnership. Anyway, good job, Forbidden Door. Good job, Heatwave? What the fuck just happened?
Yep.
Oh, what's the next one? They're already setting it. Anyway.
The next time we get to do it, we'll do this again in a few weeks. September 20th? WrestlePalooza and All Out.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
All right. At least there's not going to be, hopefully, no pay-per-views between now and the next time that we do this podcast on Thursday. Kaz, do you want to get some plugs in?
Yeah, man. This Thursday, I'll be on commentary in Buffalo for West Side Gun Day and Fourth Rope. Incredible card. I'd love to read the crowd, run the card down if that's all right with you guys, because it's definitely a stacked show. Performances by Styles P. Bun B will be there. We have Real One taking on Mo Jabari for the Fourth Rope Flyweight Championship. Joe Alonzo takes on Buffalo's own, the aforementioned Daniel Garcia. We got a triple threat match, Kevin Knight versus Kevin Blackwood versus Gino Medina. What else we got? We got EJ and Duca taking on Moose. Triple threat tag team title match for the Fourth Rope tag team titles. The Hardys taking on the Good Brothers, taking on the Infantry. That is going to be a banger as well. And I think there will be Blood Steel Cage match. Manta Warner taking on Josh Bishop as well. And performances from Styles P, Bun B, and Joey Badass. West Side Gun Day in Buffalo. I'll be on commentary for that. Check it out on YouTube, on the Fourth Rope YouTube channel. Shout out West Side Gun and Smoke Dizzle. Bang.
Damn, I wish I could go.
Yeah, it's gonna be
maybe
a good
I'll try
show.
to talk my kid into. Maybe if my teenager decides he really wants to go, then
we're gonna get you to a Fourth Rope show one day, Dave. It's like no wrestling show you've ever been to. I can guarantee you that.
No, I want to. I badly want to go. I mean, I thought it was going to work out, but we were in upstate New York like twice in the past month with him looking at colleges and stuff. So like I can't just go get in the car for another 6-7 hour drive to go to Buffalo. There anyway.
Can you fly there? You can fly.
I do got to
right?
get to Buffalo.
Yeah. How long was that flight?
My private jet? My PJ? Like, well, how do you think? Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like 2 hours, or like it's not even that. It's like 2 hours. Like
it's gotta be less than that.
Like
right?
take off the landing, but it's super fast.
I bet.
Tell Fourth Rope they send me the PJ, send me the private helicopter. I'll be there. Well,
I'll send you the Griselda Airlines. We'll be out there.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, thanks, guys. Thanks to our producer, Brian H. Waters. Thanks to our EP, Ben Cruz. Thank you all for listening. Finn Balor's going to be okay. Boo your mama. We'll see you back here on Thursday, humanoids.
Peace.